WrestleMania, the show of shows, the grandest stage of them all, the showcase of the immortals, the biggest party of the April, the gleaming meat of fireworks circus, Dr. Vinny's hustle and tussle kerfuffle, the thing that keeps happening, 4 hours of Rosa Mendes, the momentous momentum of moments moment, and many more. WrestleMania is WWE's Christmas time. 'Tis the season, and this year looks fairly okay so far. And what better way to prepare for this show than by running through all the things WWE most wants to sweep under the rug about the jewel in their crown. And we're not talking about Crown Jewel. That'll be later in the year, if it happens. Now, look. Okay, we could very easily fill this list with Chris Benoit moments and a myriad of other wrestlers onto this list. However, we talk about them quite a bit in other videos, and yes, we could just list off all of their WrestleMania moments and knock off for gin and toast, but that's too easy, however. Welcome to Honor Wrestling Club, and here are 11 things that WWE want you to forget about WrestleMania. That's right, 11 this time, because it's WrestleMania, baby! Oh, and welcome to the club. Number 11. That is WrestleMania 41. No one likes getting old, Vince McMahon less than anyone, but the very fact that Vince's body is almost 80 years old is something that he takes as a personal insult, and while he pumps iron straight into his veins to try and reverse the aging process, all he's doing is making him look like something that lives on the bottom of the sea. Well, WrestleMania is also getting old, and people would want you to try and forget that for some reason. There was a period from 2015 onwards until Triple H took over, where we ordered that WrestleMania no longer be called the granddaddy of them all, for fear that it makes the event sound like an out-of-touch 80-year-old man, which I don't know what he's... Yeah. However, he also ordered that WrestleMania no longer contain numbers in their branding. WrestleMania 31, for example, was just called WrestleMania. WrestleMania 32 was just called WrestleMania. Maybe you just thought his audience couldn't count past 30? However, since Vince left, the numbers have since returned, as WWE and Triple H remembered that numbers do exist and the WWE Universe aren't idiots and can in fact count from 40 onwards. Number 10. All the little edits. WWE is incredibly protective of their favourite son, and like any good parents editing out their kids' pet murders from the Christmas newsletter, Trips and Co tend to brush over the Spog's naughtiest moments. If you check out certain WrestleManias on the network or on Netflix or depending whatever you get wherever you live, certain things have been removed by the WWE editing team, who our editor would like me to acknowledge because apparently editors work really, really hard. Haha, back to work, idiot. If you search the network, you'll see things such as Jericho flipping off HBK at Mania 19, Paul Orndorff doing slanty eyes at Mr. Fuji at number 2, Mickie James grabbing Trish's crotch and licking her fingers at 22, the super botched ending of Kurt Angle versus Kane at 18. They all disappeared using magic, which is, I assume, how editors work. At number 9, we have Hanging the Boss Man. Especially since now that A, he's in the Hall of Fame, and B, that Ray Traylor is dead. WrestleMania 15 was home to the third Hell in a Cell match on pay-per-view, the 5th overall if you include those random Raw ones, and it's one of the least eventful Cell matches ever. The first one at Bad Blood was awesome. The one at King of the Ring raised the bar to nightmarish levels. How do you top it when it's WrestleMania itself? Easy! Murder! In front of a crowd of, let's call them witnesses, Taker, with the help of the Brood who had lowered in on wires, had a rope lowered through the cell. The Brood then ascended to the heavens like a vampire Cirque du Soleil group. The rope was put around Bossman's neck, the cell then raised, and Bossman was hanging there. Then he stopped moving, and then the lights went out. Bless Michael Cole for having to call that. But yeah, now that we've honoured the Bossman at the 2016 Hall of Fame, maybe his murder will be kept out of future video packages. In number 8, we have the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. WrestleMania 25 was supposed to be a landmark show. A quarter of a century of WrestleMania. One of the commemorations of times past was a battle royal to crown Miss WrestleMania. 25 years of amazing women like Alundra Blaze, Fabulous Moolah, Wendy Richter, Jacqueline, Trish, Lita, Victoria. It was supposed to be celebrated with 25 divas in the ring competing for supremacy. Heck, even some classic divas like Molly Holly, Sunny and Tori Wilson came back. They didn't get their own entrances, but that didn't matter. Hooray for women! It was won by a man. Santino Marella, dressed as Santina Marella, was crowned Miss WrestleMania. What a load of crap. When WWE pats itself on the back with its Divas Revolution and how they treat women's wrestling now, they might want you to forget that they once implied that the greatest woman in 25 years of WrestleMania was a man. In at number 7, we have WrestleMania 7's venue fiasco. WrestleMania 7, when Hulk Hogan toppled the Iraqi sympathising Sergeant Slaughter and single-handedly won the Gulf War for the USA. God save our gracious America. The total attendance for the show was just over 16,000. Not too bad, but a big step down from the previous year's 67,500. But hey, that's not WWE's fault, right? The arena they were in was a small one, so they couldn't fill it with many more people. Well, sure, that's what the big dub want you to think. You see, WrestleMania 7 was originally booked to take place in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, which can hold up to 100,000 people. But then the event was moved to the much smaller Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena because WWE said they were doing it for security concerns after the Gulf War angered people. But really, it's because advance ticket sales with the event were bad, like really bad. So there was no way they'd have reached 100,000, so they cut their losses and downgraded. In at number 6, we have the WrestleMania 8 main event fiasco. WrestleMania 8 was notoriously bad for 2 reasons. Reason number 1. Ric Flair had just signed with the WWF and didn't have Ric Bloody Flair versus Hulk flipping Hogan. I mean. Second, the main event of WrestleMania ended in a DQ, and a botched DQ at that. The Hulkster was left battling Sid Justice in the Battle of the Giant Dumb Blondes, and the plan was that Hogan hits his leg drop on Sid, then Papa Shango runs in and causes a DQ, and then, Ultimate Warrior returns. What ended up happening was that Hogan hits the leg drop on Sid, he goes for the pin, Shango misses his cue, so Sid kicks out the atomic leg drop, a huge moment that gets no sort of reaction because it's not meant to happen. Harvey Whippleman sort of runs in, The bell rings, Papa Shango runs in with his best, "Oh, I have done messed up" face, and then after the match, the announcers blame the DQ on Papa Shango, oh, sod it. Just have Hogan and Ultimate Warrior pose for 10 minutes, no one will ever notice. And thankfully, the Mania main events would only get better from here. In at number 5, we have the WrestleMania 9 main event fiasco. Hooray! WrestleMania 9! It gave us Jim Ross in a toga, and for that, it's going to hell. In one of the worst WrestleManias of all time, home to possibly The Undertaker's worst match, and don't worry, we will get to that, by far the biggest stinker on the show was how it ended. Bret Hart was the leader of this new wave of WWE superstars, creeping slowly up the company ladder. The lighter, leaner, less steroid drug test popping, more athletic sort of main eventer was coming through, but the dub was not yet ready to let go of its big dumb blonde safety blanket just yet. So Hart was screwed for the first time out of the belt, dropping it to the much larger Yokozuna, who was in great shape, and that shape is a circle. However, the night wasn't over yet. Out came Hulk Hogan for some reason, who challenged Yokozuna for some reason, who then accepted for some reason, before immediately succumbing to the leg drop, making the Hulk's champion once again. It was a bit like a Money in the Bank, except this had zero explanation, and it was stupid. Critics the world over lambasted the event for pandering to Hulk's ego once again, as Bret Hart became an afterthought of his very first WrestleMania main event. In number 4, we have WrestleMania 2's dumb concept. Now, I'd say it makes sense on paper, this idea, but it doesn't really. In an attempt to make the follow-up to the original WrestleMania seem like an even bigger national event, WrestleMania 2 emanated from not 1, not 2, not 4, but 3 arenas around the country in New York, Chicago and Los Angeles. Each venue had its own main event and its own crowd and its own commentary team and everything. It really didn't work. From bell to bell, each crowd only got to see about 30 minutes or less of actual wrestling, and most of it was bad. When it wasn't their turn to see the live stuff, the live crowds in the arena got to watch the rest of the show on monitors. Hey, thanks for showing out on tickets, idiots! This is a bad show, And there's a reason why WWE go, oh, WrestleMania 1, oh, amazing, WrestleMania 2. Hey, remember WrestleMania 3? Oh, amazing, there's that Savage Steamboat match, and, Hogan slammed Andre. In number 3, we have Goldberg versus Lesnar, match number 1. Did someone order a hot mess? We got a hot mess here. We've talked about Lesnar versus Goldberg before, so we'll put it super simply. Big men. 2 big men. Bork. Dog. Crowd like men. Men quit WWE. Crowd hate men. Bork and Gorg stall. Crowd angry. Nothing happened. Crowd angry. Gorg wins. Crowd angry. Oh dear. In number 2, we have The Undertaker's DQ win. Before The Undertaker was finally toppled by the aforementioned Brock Lozenge at WrestleMania 30, WWE had built up his streak to mythical status. 20 matches of pure dominance, crushing victories, the acts of Herculean conquest, and makes lesser men weak. Also something about chloroform. What? Nothing! Acts of unstoppable carnage. Wait, what was the chloroform thing? Well, as we mentioned a bit earlier, at WrestleMania 9, the really bad one, Undy fought Giant Gonzalez. The thing is, Undertaker won, but by a measly DQ after Double G knocked him out with a chloroform-soaked rag and left him unconscious. Wow, such dominance. And in number 1, that every champ got injured going into Mania 32. There were a lot of things to forget about Mania 31. The championship winning curb stomp, which wanted to be gotten for a period, Sting's hair, the fact that Sting lost, whatever happened to giving Divas a chance. But here there's a kicker. Not one of the champions that emerged from Mania 31, or WrestleMania as Vince called it, were able to fight the following year. Nikki Bella was out with a neck injury. Cesaro returned the night following Mania 32, and he was tag team champion. His tag team partner at the time, Tyson Kidd, wasn't as lucky, as he suffered a spine and neck injury following a Samoa Joe musclebuster botch, and it's unlikely he'll ever return to the ring. Both John Cena, who did make an appearance at Mania 32 but wasn't in an official match, and Daniel Bryan, who was United States Champion and Intercontinental Champion, were both out, and Bryan was out for good by Mania 32. Seth Rollins, who walked out as WWE Champion, was also out with a bad knee injury that was probably caused by him having to carry the company on his back in 2015. WWE probably had huge plans for Mania 32. I think off the top of my head they were planning a Shield triple threat. The Rock versus Triple H, and then Undertaker versus Cena. Those were like the 3 big headlining matches, and they all had to get changed owing to the amount of injuries 2015 had. This was a sobering indictment of the dark and dangerous side of wrestling, the toll of what we all pay big bucks to see. After all, if WrestleMania is supposed to be a celebration of all things wrestling, then WWE will surely want us to forget that our favourite sport can leave bodies broken and careers over in an instant. And there you have it. There's our list. So what do you think we missed? What other things do you think that WWE would want us to forget about WrestleMania? Let us know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button and the notification bell to then miss out on any of our other exciting content. However, that's all for now. So I'd like to thank you all for watching and welcome you to the club. See ya!